So finally, some retail stores actually are using their brains and putting hard limits on Pokemon products nationwide. You know, scalpers. Obviously, everybody hates them. I've said it a million times at this point. My opinions on them, I don't really care because they exist. And if stores want to prevent scalpers, well, they have the power to put up limits. And stores that don't put up limits, honestly, in my opinion, it's their own fault. It's not that hard to place a limit on a product and say, hey, to avoid all these scalpers and stuff, we're gonna put limits so everyone can get their fair share and fair shot at getting something, and that's all they have to do. But every store that doesn't have a limit, or is too lazy, or doesn't have, I don't know, any sort of brains to do that, if they want to ensure that a lot of customers and people are happy to put up limits, then I guess it's their own fault, right? But GameStop here has finally done this. I don't know why it's taken so long for them to do this, but they finally have put a nationwide product limit. A lot of stores I've seen previously at GameStop had like two per SKU limits on Pokemon products, but now they have just limited that to one, and it's supposed to be now nationwide according to this post here. So I think this is good news, so that everybody, all the collectors and stuff, can get their fair share, and scalping, hopefully will be harder, and scalpers will not be able to line up and make a decent amount of money that's worth it for them, because honestly, them putting a limit this low when you can only get one per customer, I don't think scalpers are really going to be that enticed to do so. So hopefully this makes people happy. Honestly, for me, if all retail stores, Walmart, Best Buy, Target, GameStop now, if all of them could put one per customer limits, I think that'd actually be great, because then collectors could at least not, I guess, be so, angry all the time on the internet, complain about scalpers, and everyone could at least say that there was a fair shot or something is in place to stop scalpers, because we all know how bad people hate scalpers and how much it's talked about at this point. Like I've told you guys, it's kind of annoying to hear about it 24/7, and if you put these barriers in place, people at least see the effort, and a lot of these people are happier that way. So I think this is a good thing that GameStop has done. We've recently seen pictures from the Prismatic Evolutions Super Premium Collection box. People literally lining up a day before the store even opens to get like two products, even on some restocks, just to get a couple of each SKU, maybe making a few $100s. But now with this one limit, one per limit or per customer per SKU, the amount of money you're going to make is so little that it's not going to really even be worth it. Because before, maybe you could get a few SKUs, and you could get two of each product. Maybe you can make a few $100, but now you can make much less, and I feel like this will deter some scalpers from doing so. And like I said, honestly, for the general whole, I guess market right now and community, how things are going, I think this is a good thing, because guess what? For me, I don't really care that this has happened, or if it didn't happen. Honestly, like I said, I prefer it to happen so that people will at least stop complaining so much about the scalpers. But for me, I don't line up at stores to try to make a couple $100 and lose face and stuff to do that. Like, I don't really do that, right? All of my scalping, you could say I do, is from secondary places like Facebook Marketplace, eBay, and online, like all the online TCG stores. That's it. I don't go to stores getting a couple of each small product to make a few bucks. Like, I don't do that. So for me, I don't really care. It doesn't hurt me, but I think it is good just for the general community. So let's just read this post, and there's another one that says the same thing, but I want to read a few of the comments just to show you guys how people are reacting to this. So GameStop puts hard limits on new product nationwide. So you can see this is from, I believe, Facebook. New Pokemon TCG products will now be limited to one per customer. Have fun. Limit one per customer. And I also think GameStop has had some recent backlash because of some statement they've made. If you guys know what I'm talking about. So I think maybe this will help them a little bit with the PR side. Limit one per customer. As we prepare for the May 30th launch of Destined Rivals, GameStop has decided to limit customers to one unit per SKU each to help ensure more fans receive the opportunity to access the latest expansion. Sleeve booster packs remain limited 5 per customer. So that means the products that are going to be coming out, which I believe are the booster bundles coming out with the initial set release, or is that later? I know obviously Elite Trainer boxes, booster boxes. I don't know if there's 3-pack blisters, but Those things you can get one of, and I guess the sleeve boosters you can get five of because it's only like one pack. So yeah, that's how it is. And let's just read some of the comments. Meanwhile, scalpers be like in this meme. Good wipes out the greedy bleeps crying about I wouldn't be in line if I couldn't get two. Wait until you find out that those people will in fact still be in line before any kid. Yeah, there will definitely still be some scalpers out there buying these literally to make like a little, like maybe what, $100, $150. But I think it will deter some people because if you're getting half of what you used to be able to get before, if you have to wait a whole night and be there for a whole day, some people might not think it's worth it. Lottery would be great too. Hand out tickets to all there by opening them. By opening, then random drawing for purchase, less camping out by scalpers, and everyone gets an opportunity. Um, I think that could work too. It could also avoid, I guess, the whole thing with possibly people lining up and stuff. If they, I guess it'd be kind of hard to with tickets because they would have to know how many people are there and they'd have to print out the tickets. I don't really know. But yeah, implement a rule where people can't camp 3 days in advance. Yeah, so that's another thing they could do is like have it so that you can't camp it. Anyone who's camping outside of there before the store opens just doesn't get anything. You could do that. Um, I guess that would be up to the store, whatever. I have heard some, stores have actually done that where people have camped out and they're kind of tired of it and they just don't sell anything. That's a thing that happens. Now maybe implement a good online system so we don't have to wait in line for 3 days. This time I'm going to do what scalpers do: show up 11 hours prior to store opening, dropping off a launch chair, taking off until 30 minutes prior to opening. Does that chair method really work? Like I don't know if that is really a thing or not, but why does that have fun seem passive aggressive to me? Well, absolutely is. They're done hearing reports from their brick and mortar stores about Pokemon cards. Um, okay, whatever. Uh, Good job. And I think that's about it. So I found another post, basically the same thing, except this is from like Instagram, and we'll see how these people react. As they should. Maybe you won't have people camping 3 days early so they can get two booster boxes, two ETBs, two blisters, and fighting with other grown adults. Nah, it'll just be scalper, loser, and his wife, two kids, wife, mom, and grandmother for what they're one each. So honestly, that's like another, I guess, way to get around the whole per customer thing, because it is per customer. You could have multiple friends, family members right behind you, and that would still, and if you're all scalping, it would sort of defeat that purpose. But definitely it still is worse than it was before, because still before you could have done the same thing, but now you're getting still half of that. So it still could be bad, right? I'm not saying no one's going to scalp, but it definitely is I guess a step in the right direction, and hopefully more goes around for just people that want to buy it, right? And just open this stuff up. Big win in my opinion. I live in a populated city and lines are always massive on drops. At least gives a chance to get something. About time. Now if my local Targets could do the same, haven't seen product there in 4 months. Yeah, so I don't know why some of these other stores, I don't know, maybe it's not as big of a deal to them as maybe GameStop, because GameStop is specifically like a gaming store. But why doesn't Target, Walmart, and stuff have the exact same nationwide policies? Like, why don't they just do that? Like, I don't understand. Um, Figures that they do it after the SPC release, but better late than never, I suppose. Yeah, I don't know why it's taken them so long to do this sort of limit. Like, they should have literally started doing this limit probably after Prismatic, in my opinion. I would have gotten an SPC with this. Good. They should take the shrink wrap off or break the seal in some capacity so it's harder to resell. There's already controversies with that sort of tactic. About time. I'm okay with this. Why can't they just do a lottery system? Um, the Pokemon Company had enough time to get ahead of this and they failed. They keep saying there's not a stock problem, which might be true, but if that's the case, then there's a distro problem and the Pokemon Company is equally to blame. Good. Bleep scalpers. It should be one item per customer, not one unit each. I guess that could be another argument to be made that maybe they shouldn't do one per SKU. Maybe it should just be one limit on just one item. So just wanted to show you guys this news that GameStop has set a nationwide hard limit of Destined Rivals, and seemingly forward probably after this. I think this is kind of overdue. Like, why literally did they not do this after the initial Prismatic release? Like, I think it was pretty obvious how things were going in the market. I don't know why it took this long, but at least they're doing something now. I think stores like Walmart, Target should follow suit. But like I said, I don't think Pokemon is their main concern with, I guess, business. And they're probably, not as focused on that and really care to, but I think it's not that hard to do so. But I think GameStop is a little bit easier to have set this limit across stores because it's just a gaming store. But hey, maybe stores will follow suit. Maybe other stores will do the same thing. But yeah, I feel like this is good news because, collectors and stuff will maybe not complain as much and say that all like these stores are letting scalpers do this and that. They're actually setting limits and doing something and place barriers in place. So that's all I'm talking about here. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.